Everybody, it's Stephanie, and I'm here with my first card making, I don't know if you want to call it a tutorial per se, but I wanted to show you all some things that I do and some easy things that you can make. One of the things that I had said that I would show everyone was making cards out of one 12 by 12 piece of paper. I'm going to show you all a couple of cards I made actually yesterday, and then I'm going to make one here with you just to give you an idea. These are cards that were made out of just a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and this paper is K&Company. I'm going to show you the pad in just a moment. The card is also K&Company, and I have taken just a sticker, put it on some cardstock, matted it with some green paper from the same paper pad. I've taken a couple of paper flowers, attached them to a brad, taken an epoxy sticker here. Then on the inside, I have taken another piece of paper that coordinates from the same paper pad. I've taken a couple of flowered stickers, another piece of paper cut out here, and I've stamped it here. I've also made my own envelope, and I have an envelope punch board, but these I made just by doing a simple measurement, and I will show you how to do these also. And I made this also from a piece of paper from the same pad. I like to coordinate my envelopes. And pretty much did the same thing here. I just took a piece of paper from the cardstock, had the matching tag from K&Company. This was a punch of glitter paper, and then I added a paper flower and a brad. I stamped the word grateful, matted it, and then I took a coordinating piece of paper, also from the same stack, added a little embellishment here, and stamped it here with some extra paper. I ink my edges a lot, and I use a couple of different inks, and I will show you those. I also made my envelope, and I will show you how to make those again. I ink my edges with a couple of different things. I usually ink my edges with either the Ranger Distress ink or these little inchy ink spots or ink. I'm not even sure, ink cubes. I'm not sure what you call them. They come in, I think, 6 a set. American Craft makes them, and I get them at Tuesday Morning for like $3.99 for 6 of them. I use these to distress my edges or ink my edges. I do not use these to stamp with, and there's nothing wrong with using them to stamp with. I just prefer to use them just to ink my edges with. So that I think I used the ink blots with this one, and I think I used the Ranger with this one. So we're going to make a card similar. It won't be exactly the same. Very few of my cards are ever exactly the same, but these are just a couple of cards that I've made, and I'm going to give you just an idea of what I do. And I'm trying to talk fast, so you all bear with me. The paper pad that I made those with, and that I've chosen this paper with, is this K&Company Best Of paper pad. It's a Susan Winget collection, and there was 360 sheets in this paper pad. I don't know if I can even get it to show you how thick this paper pad is. It's huge. There are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous pieces of paper in this pad. If you can see the front tab, it has all of these collections. Now I have a couple of 12 by 12 pads. I have this one right here, and then I also have, I believe it's this one right here. In the 12 by 12 double backed cardstock. Excuse me. But these are just the single sheets. The 360 piece cardstock pad, or excuse me, paper pad, was $30 at Joann's. I got it on clearance for $15. Not even a year ago. So, and actually I took a lot of them out and gave them to a friend. I took like one of each, gave them to a friend just because I said, well, you know, I'll never be able to use all of these papers. So, but I have actually used them quite a bit. So this is the paper pad that I have used, the cards that I made last night and the cards that I'm going to make now. I'm going to try to do this quickly. And to save time, I have actually already done some of the things that needed to be done. So I've got 4 sheets of paper here. I picked out the pattern that I wanted for my card base. I picked out the pattern that I wanted for my inside base, the inside of my card. I picked out the pattern that I wanted that is a lighter and a little less busy that you can actually write on. And then lastly, I picked out the pattern that I wanted to make for my envelope. So you can see all of these kind of coordinate. And the one thing that I wanted to also to stress is I know that a lot of people make the cards with the either the pre-made folded cards or they take cardstock and fold them, and that's fine, and I do that. But this is just a different way to do it to get more money out of your paper pads. So I've got a 12 by 12 piece of paper here. I'm going to fold it into fourths. This is going to be my card base. It's going to be a 6 by 6 card. If you don't want a 6 by 6 card, you can trim it down however you want. Take my bone folder, trim this down. Put it down here and see how we can get, I feel like there's a little bubble here. And once I have that done, and I decide if I want my pattern going this way, do I want my lines going this way, or do my lines going up and down? It really doesn't matter to me, so I'm going to leave them up and down. The next thing I'm going to do is apply some adhesive to the inside flap to keep the inside flaps from coming up once I am done with it. You'll see what I mean here in just a minute, but I'm just going to apply some adhesive. Now, there's the inside of my fold. The next thing I'm going to do is punch my corners with a round corner punch. You don't have to do this, and sometimes I don't. I think it gives it a much smoother edge to do it, so I'm going to do it. And I do it a lot. Let's put it that way. And I usually do all 4 corners. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm actually done with my base now. I want to ink it. And I've got a couple of different purples here. I actually don't have the violet or the purple or the grape in the Tim Holtz. Here's my little baggie. It's nothing fancy. Of my little ink spots. And if you'll bear with me, here it is. I'm going to take I have a kind of a violet, kind of a grapey, and then I have a more of a lavenderish purple. I'm going to choose this one, and this is a pigment ink. And I'm just going to brush around the edges. And all that does is just kind of give your paper a little bit of pop. Now, if you're using the Tim Holtz Distress ink, it will actually distress it and make it look a little vintage, which I really do like that also. But when I use the colored pigment inks, basically all I'm doing is just kind of making the lines a little bit more clear. A little clearer, I guess would be a better way to say that. And nothing fancy, doesn't take very long. Just running that over the edges just to give it a little bit of crispness. And I'm hoping I'm getting all this camera appropriately. Okay, that was just a really easy little thing to do. I'm going to try to hurry up and get this done in 30 minutes if I can. Next, I'm going to apply my paper to the inside base, and I've got 2 pretty busy patterns here. And what I've only been making cards for a couple of years, but one of the things that I've learned is that's okay. It's okay to have some busy patterns as long as their colors coordinate and you know, they're busy in different ways, I guess. It's okay for me to have this. So, to do this, there's very little measurement on this card. Excuse me. But to do this, I open the card, measure. It is 12 inches. It's about a hair shy of 12 inches. So I'm going to make the width of the base 11. You can make it whatever you want. And then this is 6 inches, so I'm going to make the other width of the base. Let's see, I said 12, didn't I? That would give me a half an inch. I'm going to do 11 and a half. Let's do 11 and a half or 11 and a quarter by 5 and a quarter. I think I'll try that. I kind of just go with the flow and do as I want. When I'm making these kind of cards, I don't stick with a pattern. I am using my Fiskars trimmer, paper trimmer. So let's see. I said I wanted 5 1/4. Bear with me here, just until I can get this done. I tried to get some of this done ahead of time so that it wouldn't take so long on camera, and I did get some of it done. I'll show you that in a minute. And then we're going to do 11 1/4. I'll show you why I'm doing it like this here in just a second. Put that up here. Move this extra paper out of the way. Move my trimmer out of the way. I'm going to clip the corners on this. This one as well. Sometimes that corner punch doesn't want to clip really well, but most of the time it does a really good job. I'm going to fold it in half. Doesn't have to be exactly precise, but, you know, I try to get as much as I can. Bone folder. And then I'm also going to clip these corners. And the reason for that is because the corners are edged in the center of my card. And so I want, this is going to be the center of my card, and I want it to match. Now, I'm going to reverse the fold, and I'm going to ink it again. Again, just because it gives it just a little bit of a clear, crisp image. Might have to pull that out to get that like that. If I'm using the Tim Holtz, again, it will distress it more than just give it a crisp image. Just depends on what look I'm going for. I don't know. Maybe this is in my mind, but I always think it looks better like this. Excuse me and pardon me. Okay, now I just decide which way I want up, which I want this way up. I'm going to fold it back again. And I use my AdTech runner. This stuff is permanent. When it says it's permanent, it truly means that it's permanent. And once you put it down, you're not going to really pick it back up again unless you bring something with it. So this is the way that I have found that works the best for me. Make sure I've got the right side up. I do. Okay, so where my fold is, I'm going to just take my middle sheet, my inner sheet here, and I'm going to bring it up to the edge and close the cover. And then I'm going to fold this over, apply some more adhesive, all 4 edges. Try to get as close to the end of it as I can. Fold that over. Okay, I have actually got my card base now. There's the inside. Now, for the last inside piece, I'm actually going to cut just a smaller piece down. And I'm not measuring anything. This is kind of at my whim. So, it's not anything that I feel like I need to measure. If I wanted to, I could. It's a lot easier not to, I guess. I probably am breaking every card making record there is. And that's actually the fun of it. Set this aside. Again, I'm going to clip my edges. I am going to ink this. Let's see. I think I'm going to ink this with a blue. And I have a very light blue here. Again, these are American Crafts, if anybody wants to know. I get these at Tuesday Morning, but I think Joann's sells them as well. Just because I think that's a pretty blue to match the edges there. I've already cut out some of the things, as I mentioned before, so I don't know. I feel like I've got a tickle in my throat. I'm not sure what that's about. And let's see. This is going to go. And I don't have in my mind usually at times when I place these where I'm going to place them. I usually just kind of go with, oh yeah, that kind of looks good. So in this case, make sure I have this the right side up, I think. Where's this go? I think that's the right side up. I'm going to bring this down into the lower corner here, just because, no particular reason. Now, the front of my card, I'm going to move this out of the way, my envelope paper, just for a moment. I have already taken the time to stamp and cut a few things. One thing that I invested in, I love K&Company. Let me see if I can show you this. And I just keep a little bin here, and everybody has seen the K&Company die cuts. They come in these kind of packages. And I've got a couple of them in packages. There's another one. But if you can see this, these are these packages that I have taken and just dumped into one clear bin. And then I can kind of thumb through and just, you know, pick out what flowers I want or what embellishments I want. It depends on what color card I'm making. Just depends. So that's where I get that at. And out of that batch, I pulled this card, or this flower, excuse me. And I'm going to adhere that to the front of my card. And this is a sticker that I pulled out of this K&Company book. If anybody is wondering, yes, by now you all should have figured it out. I love K&Company products. So I pulled this sticker and I adhered it to just a piece of lavender colored cardstock and trimmed it down. And this is going to go on the front of my card. So I'm going to apply my flower. The leaf should probably go there. And I think I am going to use the dimensionals. And the dimensionals, I don't have any particular brand that I like. I will tell you this, though. I got these at Joann's, and I don't even know what brand they are because they were such an off-brand. I don't even remember if they even had a name to them. But they came in a roll. They came in a big pack, and there were these squares, and then there were rolls. And this is not the roll that came in here because this is actually a duct tape brand roll. But what I liked about them was, show you how thin that is. Okay, compared to, let's see if I can pull another one out here. Okay, this was just a brand. I might have gotten these at Michael's. I'm getting camera here. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can show you the difference in the thickness. Can you all see that? The difference in how thick those are? I like the really thin ones better. I don't feel like I needed to pop off the page a 1/4 of an inch. So I do use, I actually like that little cheap brand, and it was think it was like $9.99, and it had several pages of these, and I think it seems like it had a couple of rolls of the other. I'm trying to remember, and I think I used like a half off coupon. Okay. So I'm not going to be too fussy here. Put that right there. And then I'm going to apply some to the back here. And I'm going to try to do this by doing it in half. I don't know if that's going to work or not, because sometimes it'll stick to my scissors. Alright, so this is what we're going to do here. I'm dividing it. Pull that. I did ink the edges for this little piece of paper, this little piece of cardstock with a sticker on it. I inked it with the same purple lavender that I used the little square ink blots. Okay, this doesn't seem to want to come up here. There it is. Okay, and this just says a friend is someone who dances with you in the sunlight and walks with you in the shadows. Very simple, nothing fancy. And the only other thing that I'm going to do is I've cut a couple of vellum butterflies out of this pack right here. It's Paper Pizzazz vellum cutouts. I actually bought this on eBay. I had a friend who bought one in the flea market, in a yard sale. So I'm not sure where you get them, if they still make these. But this is great. Let me see if I can flip through here and show you real quick. It's all vellum, and it's all just really, really pretty cutouts that you can cut out and put on cards. So I'm going to pause the video because that is one thing I didn't do, is I didn't do the fussy cutting. And I'm going to pause this real quick. Okay guys, I'm back. I've done my little fussy cutting. And I have vellum tape, but since this is pretty much solid all the way through, I don't think it's going to hurt anything to use regular sticky tape. If it was something that I thought would show through, I would most definitely dig out my vellum tape. I don't know why this isn't wanting to work very good. It's not wanting to pull off. So I'm going to just tuck that in here like so. Okay, there's the front of my card. The inside of my card is very simple. It's going to have, I'm going to put my thinking of you right at the top there. And I may be running out of ink. That might be why it's running so hard to run. So I'm trying not to get this too off camera. Let's see, do I want to center it? I just kind of think as I go. I think I will. And then I have my other little fussy cut butterfly here. Okay. Dig out another here. This is a little I think this is a little dollar runner here. Let's see if I can get enough tape on here to get it to stick. Alright. And just for an extra little bit of something for you to eyeball here when you open it up. And that's my card. And that is the extent of my card. I could trim it up here. Oh, you know what? It is not the extent of my card. There was one more thing I wanted to do here. Here's just some rickrack, some very, very small rickrack. This was the other thing I thought this might be cute about. I'm just going to tie a little bit of it down the side through here. And nothing fancy. I'm just going to tie a little bow. Tie it tight enough to where it won't slip off. And actually not going to do anything else but that. Now, There's my card, guys. Very, very, very simple. How long did that take me? Not very long. And I'm going to really quickly, there's the card. There we go. There's the inside. Use multicolors. Don't be afraid to use pattern with a pattern as long as they coordinate. They don't even have to come from the same paper pad. They just have to coordinate. And then real quickly, I'm going to show you a very easy way to make an envelope without using a punch board. To do that, you measure from corner to corner, which in this case is basically 8 inches. You add an inch, which would make it 9 inches, and then you're gonna. That means you're gonna have a 9 by 9 square piece of paper. So I'm gonna just cut a 9 by 9 piece of paper here. Try to do this. Wrap this up because we're approaching the 30-minute mark here. I do not worry about inking my envelopes. You could if you wanted to. You don't have to. I take my card. I've got my 9 by 9 piece of paper, and I'm going to diamond set it. I'm going to set my card right in the middle of the diamond. And I'm going to fold up the bottom flap. I'm going to fold over the top flap. I'm going to turn it, do the same again. Fold up the bottom flap. Fold down the top flap. Then I take the card out. I fold the flaps again with a bone folder. Just give them a really quick or really crisp fold. Then I open it up and I go to my corner areas here, and there's not much. But I do clip out that little corner there because that will add just a little bit of extra bulge into the corners there. Put that to there. You don't. I've actually seen it made where you don't clip out the corners, but I don't know. I just it's a little bit neater to me. It took me a couple of times to be able to make one like this, but it, you know, it does work. And, let's see. Trick is you've got to be able to figure out how to do it. My Tombow glue. There it is. Excuse my messy desk. Always happens when I make a card. I'm just going to use a little bit of Tombow glue down here on the edge. And then the same here on the edge. That will hold. And there you have it. I have my card. I have my envelope with my bird. Now to write an address here, you can use or this is what I would do. I would use either like a Sharpie marker, something that's very, you know, bright as far as a marker goes. A pigment marker if you have that. A lot of times what I will do is, and I've done this many, many times, I'll take like a 2x3. I keep some 2x3 pieces of paper. I will ink this. Sometimes I'll punch around the edges. And then I will adhere this to the envelope. And then you can write your address on the envelope. And then most people have address labels to put up in here. But if you did not have an address label, you could do that here. Or you could get another small piece of paper and put it on the back of the envelope here. But as you can see, it will tuck right inside the envelope like that. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room. And if you do it and you find out your envelope is too tight, add 1/4 inch when you do your square, and it'll be just fine. So there's my card, there's my envelope. An easy way to make a card base with one 12x12 piece of paper. Really I think it's very beautiful. I love the colors. I love matching the different patterns of colors. So there's my first card tutorial, excuse me. I think I'm going to try to do one again on double-sided cardstock, which is very similar to this, but I don't know, we'll try some things out. I'm a pretty simple gal, so I don't have a lot of fancy techniques to show, but I can show you a few things, and hopefully if you'll enjoy watching my videos, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.